Hello, everyone.
Hi.
It's always good to talk to you guys. You're such beautiful people. I always love that. I know you're all working real hard on yourselves, and there's so much going on. You know that? There's so much. Oh, my God. I mean, look. I mean, you're seeing a lot of people right now. It reminds me of the old days, you know. Since I cut back a little bit, and it's like, my God, you've had some great successes just here in the last few weeks. You got a type 1 that's off the meds. You've got two of them off of their meds. Two type 1s off the med, off of insulin. She's got it was 13 centimeter tumor out of that liver. There was a leukemia case gone. There was a cancer all through them gone. Pretty good stuff, and that's just a few we know of. That's just good stuff, and exciting stuff when you start to see. Proof's in the pudding. Yep. I want to read something to you because I want to tie that.
Fruit pudding.
Oh, yeah. Fruit pudding. Not chocolate. Now, for you Midwesterners, tapioca pudding. Ooh. When I go to the Amish, she always makes me tapioca pudding with bananas in it. And I'm going, but I do eat it. I have to. But I wanted to read this because we got this from someone. I'm not going to mention any names here, but this is important for some reasons that we want to discuss here. Emotional detox will no longer be the goal of this group. So it's talking about some group. My experience has taught me that much of what I witness in this group is severe deficiency. I went through a legitimate emotional detox in the beginning with ups and downs, but I felt more connected with the people around me, more loving of myself and others. Nutritional deficiency. Now I want to read this. Nutritional deficiency, however, is characterized by long-term feelings of total disconnect from others. Not really. Not at all. That's not nutritional deficiency. That's hormones and steroids, guys. Not nutritional deficiency. And the reason I'm reading this is to address this nutritional deficiency thing. Let me see here. Nutrition deficiency is characterized by long-term feelings of total disconnect from others, alteration, anxiety, depression. That's not true at all. These are all glandular problems. Isolation, paranormal, among many other physical symptoms. Not really. That's more hormonal steroid. You'd have to be eating just. I mean, I don't know how to describe that. Yes, our diet has brought down the glands to have these symptoms, but the type of diet we're eating, it has no nutrition. So when people say nutritional deficiency, that comes from standard American diets. That comes from eating grains. That comes from eating beans. That comes from eating dead animal meats. That comes from drinking milks and pasteurized milk. You want deficiencies, that's where you get them, by eating those foods. You don't get deficiencies eating fruits, berries, melons, and vegetables raw. You don't get deficiency with that. Matter of fact, you all would be quite surprised at how little, and I've talked about this before, how little nutrition one really needs. You see that particularly as you get older, of course. But let's talk about a little case we saw the other day. I kind of mentioned it to them, but the ALS case.
Yes.
All right, so here's an ALS case. She's in one of our restorative houses, so to speak. We have places that some people can go to get restored, and the people there all do raw and everything. It's like a little healing center down here, regeneration center. So when we got her,
which we need far more of if anybody's interested.
Oh my God! Now these people just turned their house into a nursing home, but they've added to it, and you've got rooms around the pool and outbuildings. Gorgeous. Yep. Good place to rehab, that sort of thing. And this lady had some serious family problems. But she was, as I mentioned this yesterday on a video, she wasn't talking. She couldn't talk anymore, and she couldn't walk anymore, of course. Very rigid, like wood, like this desk, very hard, of course.
Toes
curled in. Very advanced ALS, of course. So I mentioned to him that she was in the other day. Of course, we've been going out and see her. We go out and see her once in a while, but she's been around 100% fruits, berries, and melons. All right? Now, this lady, when she's walking, her toes are straight, she's talking. She's got her voice back. We did it all on fruits, berries, melons, and herbs, right? Was there nutritional deficiency with this? There was none. How can you regenerate someone going into a fetal, solid position of atrophy and regenerate them on fruit? mostly fruit and berries actually out there. Where's the nutrition? That's where the nutrition is, guys. The nutrition is in the fruits, it's in the berries, it's in the melons, it's in the vegetables. That's where all life's nutrition is. That's why you're seeing regeneration everywhere on this program. It's not nutritional deficiency. You couldn't holler nutritional deficiency until what? What would you have to fix in your body before you could even begin to think nutritional deficiency? First of all, you would have to fix your digestive issues. You'd have to fix the pancreas, the liver, right? You know, the GI tract, absorption. You'd have to fix absorption, wouldn't you? Before you can holler deficiency, you would have to fix absorption. What else would you have to fix? One more thing before you can holler deficiency. What is it? Hormones and steroids, because your nutrition is utilized through hormones, but predominantly steroids. Blood sugar goes through two phases, steroids and hormones. Well, glucose does.
Yeah.
Not fructose.
Not fructose.
Not fructose, but glucose goes through two hormonal stages. Well, one steroidal and one hormonal. So when you holler deficiency, got to think what you're talking about. The other side of this is these are all symptoms when the glands are down. People come to us from a nutritional deficiency only because they've been burning dirty fuel. When you burn dead animal meats, their milks, you burn grains and beans, you put an acid in the body, you put glue in the body, gluten, you put all kinds of crap in the body that you now have to detox out. What's healthy about a grain? Polysaccharides. What's healthy about that? What's healthy about a dormant bean? All these have phytic acids, high phytic acids, enzyme inhibitors, and of course now we have sprouting. Okay, so we're going to sprout a bean and make a plant out of it. You're still missing the point. The nutrition is in the fruits, the berries, the melon, particularly in the berries, and in the veggies. So I thought that this needed to talk about nutrition a little bit because that's not our problem. You can't, and naturopath after naturopath has proved this since time immemorial, and I did too. You cannot fix man's problem nutritionally, can you? It's not a nutritional problem. It's a lymphatic problem. You've got to fix that. By fixing that, though, you're going to be eating nutrition, right? So what else has nutrition in it? All the herbs. All the herbs that you're taking is full bang nutritioned up. And we don't
They're
cook them.
loaded with vitamins and minerals. I mean, the only difference between an herb and a vegetable is perspective.
Actually, you are right. And the neat thing about herbs is they're non-hybrid. So, I mean, it's just, this person is going on, and I can understand their dilemma. When you guys have sites, you learn real quick how hard it is to work with people. The human being is a very hard species to work with, and it's only because of the emotional component, the mental component on this planet is not yet matured enough, and so it's all over the place. People have no control over their thoughts or their emotions at this level, and until you do, you're not allowed to grow much out of that because you would then become harmful. So you have to learn to control some of these things. That's why we tell you how to step behind the mind. Let me see here. These are the symptoms I see over and over again by people who post in this group. I have noticed. And that's because these symptoms are common, valid symptoms that everybody has. Anxieties, depressions, isolation, paranormal. That doesn't come from diet. That doesn't come from raw foods. That doesn't come from detox. This is what we people have created within them and on top of their genetic passes. When you look at a human being physically and through the eyes of health, you're looking at a lifetime of eating a certain way, living, thinking, emotionally a certain way on top of their genetics. That's what you're looking at. And all this is a simple reversal of the diet man has been eating. Man is a frugivore. We've talked about that a great deal. And when you realize that, you pull back to that, man gets his health back. Not every species has to have, matter of fact, no species that I know of except the herbivore is constantly eating. Herbivores eat quite a bit. And she said, I have noticed over the past year has become the place people post who have fallen through the cracks on Morse's protocol. That said, I will be, well, that you need somebody like yourself, honey, to pick up these people. You know, it's all about helping people and where they fall through the cracks if we can help them to understand the simplicity of life and health. Because as soon as you start getting too caught up in nutrition and stuff, you start going way off the path. Because that's what this society is focused on, has been nutrition. Naturopath after naturopath has tried to focus on nutrition. The question is, what is nutrition? What's the adequate nutrition? You see what I'm saying? And that's real tough because you have to fix digestion, absorption, and utilization of that chemistry you just ate. And until you fix those three things, you can't make nutritional deficiency observations. You can't do that. Anyone who is stuck in long-term detox and suffering constantly, I encourage you to reach out for help. Absolutely. If you're the only reason anyone here would be on a long-term detox is to regenerate and to regenerate genetic memories and cells, and those people that are so chronic in acidosis. But you want to know something? We use the word detox, but if you're eating a fruit diet, that is a diet. That's not a fast, actually. We say fruit fasting, and we talk about that just because that's kind of how we talk. But in reality, when you start eating fruit, you're on a tropical diet. And the old tropical diets were all fruit diets. And these people are the longest living of all the people on the planet, guys. That's factual. So you have to look at all the facts before you can claim these things. If you need long-term detox, you're a hurting puppy, and you're hurting when the glands are all down. When you need long-term detox, you know you're in chronic and degenerative errors. Well, that's where the average person is. So this isn't a long-term detox. This is a long-term diet change. And yes, with the herbs and stuff, we do continue to try to detox you and regenerate you. But after a certain period of time, it's regeneration. But here's the thing. I think it's important because I think you see this too. When you start feeding your body, you can feed it green drinks, you can feed it fruits, berries, and melons, your body automatically starts detoxing. And it isn't us that's doing it. We're feeding the body what it wants. Your body's doing this. And it's doing it to itself. And all the things you see out of that brand new energetic chemistry you're consuming is what the body's doing to fix itself. Because man cannot, you got to get this in your mind, man cannot understand how to fix the body through chemistry. You cannot do that through pharmaceuticals and things like that way.
Well, we use the word detoxing, and detoxing is simply cleaning, simply cleansing. And we just were talking about this not too long ago. Every single day, your body goes through metabolic activity that is acidic. Its result is acidic. And that means that every single day you have to clean. There's no difference. There's some that have a dirtier house than others. There's some that have to clean more than others. There's some that takes longer to clean than others. It goes back to the fact that it's cleaning. You can get caught up on the word detoxing, long-term detoxing, but if you have a house, you're going to continue over and over and over again to clean that house, to keep it clean. That's all you're doing. This is your house. This is your temple. This is whatever you want to call it, but this is what you've got to live in for this lifetime, and you got to clean it.
Yeah, and you know, we're always, Marcia and I love research. That's just where we're into. We just love that, and it just to prove our point. But we want to be able to show you factually. And then there's things about the body that people don't know, even physicians don't know, and that's what we're digging into. Some very deep levels you can't hardly find anywhere. To find things like the thymus gland and the growth hormones you found out of the thymus, thymatic cells. That's like whoa, because you can't pick that up in A&P anywhere. It's hard to pick up some of these deeper responses when we know there's things going on in these tissues, but we don't have any A&P validification to it. But there's somewhere, a paper somewhere in the world, somewhere, sometimes that we can find that alludes to that. So I love that side of it, because what we're doing is we're putting this puzzle together for you big time. It's simplistically, it's easy to get people well. Some are on longer journeys than others. Who cares? I mean, that's just the way it is. That's your karma. You created this. Be so happy you're allowed to get out of it, that you have the opportunity to get out of it. I'm thank God every second for the what's going on here, because of the people can get their remedy, they can get their karma ran through quicker, they can get their life back and be healthy, and even learn more about spiritual things and stuff. So make it a fun thing. Yes, what you see on your site, sweetheart, is what you see on a lot of sites, and it is people are hurting, and there are some that are very deeply, as you know, it's hard for us to express some of the clients we have and where they're at. We want to cry every day. I do, from what I see here. We have people that, I mean, they're 60 pounds, 50 pounds, they're flashing, they're so neurotoxic. We have everything under the sun here that's so bad. And that's the problem. Don't wait when you have a symptom. Fix it. Don't treat it. Fix it. And this is how you fix things, by changing how you're creating it. See, we medical doctors want to put that responsibility out of your hands into theirs or someone else's. And of course, they've learned that if they put it in their hands, you're going to get sued. So now it's autoimmune. It's beyond them even. We're going to put the responsibility flat on you, because you're creating this, and there's no one else in your life that you can turn to fix it, except people that have been there before.
Yep.
That's all there is to that one. Well, that's kind of really what I wanted to highlight this. With the right nutrients, all right, what is the right nutrients? You see, you can get into a lot of arguments when you look at this. And when you see what we do in terms of regeneration with fruits, berries, and melons, of those that are, just like this poor lady, that extreme advanced ALS, when you start to see someone starting to speak from a non-speaking position, when you start to see walking when there was none on fruits, berries, and melons, where did they get their nutrition? In the fruits, berries, and melons. This is the type of nutrition is made for the human body. God made the fruits, berries, and melons for us. We're a very simple, non-invasive human. We do not have tools to kill things. And that's for a very important reason, because eating dead things is not healthy. So we don't have any tools to rip and kill. Thank God, because we're supposed to be a higher, more peaceful species. But we're eating meat. And
if you think that long-term detoxing is so bad for a person, this is what I tell my clients. I'm not talking to you about how you should eat a year from now or 3 years from now. I am trying to get you healthy, because that's what you came to me for. And it's not even me trying to get you healthy. I'm just trying to give you the tools that you can get yourself healthy. If you want to go back to whatever you're wanting to go back to in a year or two, that's fine. I'll just plan on seeing you in 2, 3, 4 years. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to belittle that, but it's just a matter of, if you continually return to what caused the problem in the first place, it doesn't mean you can't splurge once in a while and have some of that tapioca. It doesn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm just saying, it's not what you do occasionally, it is what you do consistently.
So here's it goes on with this, and it says, I do not advise monofruit fasting or juicing for someone suffering long-term with these symptoms. Why not? You know, when you have glandular dysfunction, your glands are down. First of all, you have to go back to why are they down? All right, you have 2 reasons. One, genetics, right? That means mom had or dad had theirs down, blah, 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 blah. And what would be the second reason? And that second reason is the same reason mom and dad had theirs down. It goes back to the lymph system again. And there's no way you're going to give that person reprieve in a lifetime of joy and happiness until you fix these things. You can treat them, you can give them hormones and steroids to fix them, but you know where that goes. That sends them out to never land. So to me, you might not advise that, but I do. I'll be honest with you.
30-some years on a hormone. Do you think it's done me any good?
35 years almost on insulin. That's why it took her so long to get off of it. But I'm telling you, it's so much fun, and you just all have to relax about the nutritional side of it. You get caught up in that, you'll pull yourself away and go into blue-green algae. You'll pull into things that are ridiculous. If you worry about nutrition, pump our superfood blend. But be careful, because it's almost too much nutrition. You know, I have a lot of the singers out there, the more popular singers out there on it, and if they do too much, they're wired. I remember Tony Batella from the Letterman. He was wired for 3 days by taking a fourth of a bottle before a concert down here, a fourth of a bottle of the superfood blend. He was up for 3 days, and he was running in the audience, jumping around, and of course Darren and I were going, what? So you just, I do advise mono fruit fasting. Matter of fact, it's not fasting. Look at the orangutans. Now, I will admit the orangutans is a little smarter, because I saw a female orangutan put 2 different fruits in front of her tree. But as a rule, they're mono-eaters, and so is every other species on the planet. You don't see a species collect different food from different places before they sit down and have their meal. They don't do that. They're mono-eating, and the mono-eating is vital in the sense that you have to understand each food has its own digestive needs. And when you start mixing all these different foods, you're confusing the digestive tract. For you guys that are spiritual and you're really out there, it'll start breeding mental confusion. It'll start affecting your mind a lot, and you'll feel less at peace. And so when you get into that mono, everything works well, and you get the maximum out of that food. When you have all these different types of food, your body can't get the maximum out of all these things. So you have to account for proper digestion. We're not wizards inside.
Why do you think nature created seasons with different fruits for different seasons that provide different things?
Thank God we're a tropical species. But these are some of the things, and I'm not knocking this individual at all, because this is a sweetheart in all ways, but I disagree with some of the things that are being said here, and particularly when it comes to nutrition, because I've had a lot of years in nutrition, and there's not anyone can tell me about nutrition, because we've proved quite the other way. Just by our results around the world, you see that. I will admit, when you're in long-term detox, you can rat out. And this is what we were talking about the other day. When you're on long-term detox, you got to cheat once in a while. I don't care who you are. You got to cheat once in a while to keep your mental and emotional sanities. Or you can rat out a little bit. And you're right about that. You can rat out. You cheat a little bit. Bring yourself into a little bit of emotional balance, and then, you just have one bad thing or 2 bad things and then go on. Something you're craving really bad. Don't try to hold on and be Miss or Mr. King, because it doesn't matter. This is you. This is actually between you and yourself and your bodies. We're just way showers. We're showing you why we're so successful and why so many people are getting their remedy.
Well, I have 2 comments to this. The first one is you're talking anxiety, depression, paranoia. First of all, you're working with people in a group where you do not necessarily know their backgrounds. You don't know what medications they're on. You don't know what medications are causing different reactions and different side effects and responses. So you could have somebody detoxing while still on this medication, and it's causing some things like depression, anxiety. We see that all the time.
I forgot that. You hit that right on the head. Your meds. Take a look at your chemical medications.
Yeah. The other thing is that you have to understand is we are spirit first, emotions, and body. It is our spirit that drives. It is not the physical that drives the spirit. And so when you have a mix of people like this, you have different situations, you have egos coming into it, you have opinions coming into it, you have people that you don't know where they are emotionally, trauma-wise, you don't know what they've experienced in life. You have this whole, it's like Robert said, when you guys get in these groups, you start realizing what all it takes to work with different people. And that's where you have to be able to step back spiritually and emotionally. And you have to be able to love people where they are and understand that this can, just when detoxing stirs everything up, it can stir everything up emotionally, because you will detox emotionally as you detox physically.
Here, here. And that's just the way it is. When you start cleaning, you can expect things to be ripped from you. Anybody ever hooked with a spiritual guide or something and you're being trained, you'll go through some ripping. And the ripping is only coming from you, because spirit or God or whoever you want to call it, combination of all whatever, is going to, it's building itself, it's expanding itself. And those things that are chaining it, it'll bust apart. And it's just what's going on. But those chains is how it teaches itself. And so all these experiences that you're going through is just making you better and stronger. And you just have to realize, just what you said it perfectly, you're the controller, you're the consciousness of the bodies. The bodies are just material bodies. You have a physical, very chemical body. The rest of your bodies are more light bodies, but they're still bodies. And it is the spirit or consciousness or the soul, however you want to say it, is what gives you awareness. And that part is eternal. That part that you know is you, that's aware, that's eternal. You can't kill that. You can't hurt that. It's non-physical, and that's what drives everything.
Well, I've always explained detoxing kind of as an onion. You peel back a layer, you expose something, you go in, heal it, then you get to another layer. You can have a bruise that is several layers deep. You may have to circle around and deal with that a number of times, healing processes, whatever. The thing is, buried at the center of you is who you were created to be. But problems of experiences and core beliefs and how you were raised and things that happen to you all pack on around you that create separation. And as you clean the body, you're going to start peeling back these emotions and you're going to start getting to who you really are. But that can be kind of for some people.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I just think that you guys are hooked to a very fun and expansive process, but you have to realize there's ups and downs to it. There's ups and downs to working on people. There's ups and downs to working on yourself. And it's just, it moves with the breathing of creation, positive, negative, positive, negative. And it's just like ionization. You know, electrons and protons, the movement of electrons from one atom to another. And that's just how you charge things up and how things change and how things grow. It's like your garden. You make a garden, you clean it real nice, and pretty soon weeds start popping up. You can't keep life down. There's just nothing static. I want to address this other thing too. With nutritional deficiency, you will eventually, if you haven't already, lose your ability to digest foods or tolerate even cooked vegetables. You know what? I hate to see that, because that isn't true. You know, there is something that does take place in people, and it's not from nutritional deficiencies. When you start eating raw foods, and each one of you can verify this, do it for about a month, and then go try eating cooked foods again. Your body can't tolerate them, doesn't want them anymore. There are changes in your electrical currents. There are changes in your pH factor that you're changing. There are changing in the consciousness of the body. There are some things that the body doesn't even want anymore and won't digest them. If you're having digestive problems with carbohydrates, fruits, berries, and melons, you've got to go into your pancreas. And she said it right on. When you start detoxing, some of these weaknesses can come out. You can stop digesting, you can stop doing some of these things. That is a fact. It's not from deficiency. Not at all. But in nature, and we were just talking about this earlier, you know, in nature, fasting is the universal principle. And we were talking about water fasting, because I'm a little leery about water fasting and chronic degenerative issues. But she's a little more bold than I am.
I love water fasting, sorry.
Oh, I've done a lot of it myself, and I do too. And I just think at the right time, you know, when you have chronic issues. But most everybody can fast. But if you're sitting there at 50 pounds and you have cancer all through you, you're not going to want to fast. The problem is...
unless your body is forcing you to fast.
That's the other problem. And you know, for you guys that are more advanced, you know that you lose your appetite completely. Nature will fast you. Where's the nutrition there? And nature's doing this to you. That's God doing this to you. So you got to be careful about nutritional deficiency type of thinking, because that's what nature pass our into, is deficiencies. And you cannot holler deficiency until you fix those three principles.
Well, also, you do hear it. It's deficient in anything from K to B12 to vitamin D to it's deficiency, 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 deficiency in our world today. The problem with that is when someone tells you you have a deficiency, what usually follows that statement? Here's a product you need to take. It's not a product that will fix that deficiency. It is a product that you will have to continue to take and continue to take and continue to take because you're not regenerating, you're not going in and fixing, you're only filling a little divot, a little hole that's there. You're putting a Band-Aid on something.
Well said. Absolutely. I mean, absolutely.
I'm not saying the body can't be off in areas like, you know, D and things like that. But deficiency is a word that if you are supplying the body with what it needs and you get the acidosis down to where the body can function the way that it's supposed to and the glands can start working the way they're supposed to, you won't see those deficiencies.
You see, again, you have to be able to digest your foods to fix nutritional deficiencies. If we're talking about actual nutritional deficiencies, meaning that whatever if you're breaking down your foods okay, then you got to absorb them okay. So you've got those two processes. That's only two processes. How many people's adrenal glands are down? We've talked about this a lot on this channel. About everybody, right?
Everyone I've seen.
And go get you an A&P book and study the adrenal glands, and you'll find there's 24, 25 mineral corticosteroids. What are they for? They're for the utilization and metabolism of minerals. If your adrenals are down, what's going to be down? Zinc, selenium. I've lived with a lifetime of this thinking, and I'm going to tell you, it's idiocy when you think nutritional deficiencies, and you're going to get someone well through nutrition. You better lose that one real quick, because it's the lymph system that's the problem. It's easy to change your nutritional ingestion, real easy. Just turn to fruits, berries, and melons, and you would be arguing with many professors who have claimed, and I'm talking about several, one in particular friend of mine who's 3 doctorates, who have physically studied nutrition in foods, claims that fruits and berries are the highest nutritional foods on the planet. And it's true, but they're also what? Electrical. Real important. So be careful about nutritional deficiencies or you'll lose your way here. People are suffering from lymphatic problems. They've suffered from nutritional deficiencies, everybody from the get-go. Anybody eating cooked foods is nutritionally deficient because there's no nutrition in it. So anybody that eats dead animals, there's no nutrition in dead animal meat. It's on its road to putrefaction. So
there's definitely no energy there. It's not alive. Even in your milk. But even in your milk, you've got live. It's alive. It's got enzymes and things like that in it. But exactly.
Yeah,
but then what happened when we all started pasteurizing and everything else?
Yeah. We got all the germs out for us. Yep. Oh God! But this was important to me, and I'm not beating up on this person at all. But it's enough to say that it's important that all of you not get trapped with that type of thinking. When you go to raw foods, you're plenty of nutrition. You start observing animals in nature and you'll find how little they eat. A snake can eat a little bitty hamster and be done for, a month or two? Some 6 months. I mean, some of the big boas eat a rabbit and they don't eat for 6 months. You got to realize that animals out there don't you see the herbivores eat a lot, that's for sure. Someone said once the grass is deficient. Not really, look how big they are. And when you're talking about grasses, you're talking about vegetables. And when you're talking about vegetables, you're talking about high-fibered foods. So when you're talking about going to vegetables for nutrition, first of all, the human doesn't have the digestive power to break it down and to use it as nutrition. So you're not looking at vegetables for nutrition. I mean, you just have to realize fruits, berries, and melons, pit ripe, organic if you want, are the saviors of man. That's our food.
No, I'm not against vegetables. I actually love vegetables.
I love my salad.
But I will tell you that my sugars go higher eating vegetables than they do eating fruits.
Yeah, that's the thing. Your blood sugars always go up when you do vegetables. I always know when you do vegetables. But, I like vegetables too, but I even like cooked vegetables. But do I feel the difference after I'm eating them?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But sometimes emotionally on a long-term road, and this is for a lot of us. Now, when you raise your babies raw, they're not going to notice that because they're raw all the way. They won't notice like what we're noticing. We were raised on cooked food. And I'm 65 years old. Thank God I got into raw when I was 20. But imagine I just got into raw foods and I'm 60 years old. I've got all these years of conditioned eating and thinking. Mm-hmm. And when we see people come to us that are elder with all these cancers and stuff, we know what's up. We know their life. But
the problem is that once you have been told something over and over and over again, you start establishing a core belief. And that core belief, when you get on this, I just had a lady the other day, all of her symptoms disappeared. She went back to eating the way that she was, and everything come back. And she wanted to know why she couldn't have her meat.
God, some people just don't get it.
It's a core. Not only is it a core belief, but it's an emotional thing also. You don't have emotional eaters that reach for lemons or apples or pineapple. You have them reaching for chips and bread. It's the heavy stuff because the heavy stuff makes you feel,
Yeah.
oh, I'm okay now. I don't have to. I'm not
You know
having
what?
to face it.
Some people feel better lost. Some people feel better lost, and I don't know where that comes from. There's no nutrition. Couldn't be any nutrition in lemons, could there be?
I will tell you this, if I go on a lemon fast or a water fast, I can't do insulin. On those days,
Oh, you're in trouble
I
when
can't
you
do
do
insulin.
that. You almost went to the hospital the other day, what, down 30-something?
I was in my low 30s.
Jesus. So, a lot of what people think out there, and especially the medical doctors, isn't true. And it's so many things like this. And blood sugars and proteins and all these things. Your proof is in the pudding. Your proof is in your clients that you bring from Hellville to Wellville. If on this site you're having trouble, but you set up your site as an emotional detox site, and you're going to pull those people to that site. And so it takes a strong person, it really does, to work through people's emotional and mental problems. I don't have a lot of patience for that because I'm one of those guys, either you get yourself together or enjoy the spin. It's just the way I'm cut, you know. But that's where you're better. I just don't have time to mess around. This one question is, what is the body telling us when a person has bags under both eyes? Both kidneys, right? Mm-hmm. Both kidneys are down. And boy, do you see some big ones. Look at Clinton, right? President Clinton. I hate to even give him the word president for what he did to us. But, all right, so here's a guy with major bags. And what happened? He had to have open heart or had to have stents put in, right? Because when you start to see the bags, your kidneys are failing. And when your kidneys are failing, what system in your body's backing up? The lymph system. And when that happens, how does your body fight all this acidosis? Cholesterol, calcium, and edema. So you see the swelling, you see the calcium building up, and then the loss of it in tissue, and then the cholesterols come. Mm-hmm. And it's just what you see. Is this a kidney weakness, an adrenal weakness, or both? Well, that's a good question, Joe. I don't know about the adrenals. That could be both. I don't know.
I'm just going to put my 2 cents in. I don't think you can have a kidney weakness without having an adrenal weakness. Because the adrenals are the brains of the kidneys.
Matter of fact, this is what we see in iris analysis all day long. You can have adrenals every day there. Rare that we don't see something in the adrenal glands. Mm-hmm. It's so rare it's not even funny. But we also see good kidneys a lot. They're just not filtering. And that's just what she's saying. We see people with fairly decent kidneys, but the adrenals are always down. When the glands are down, everything goes down.
Well, your adrenals touch on your hypothalamus, the pituitary, the thyroid, the parathyroid, the pancreas, digestion, kidneys, liver.
Well, it'd be interesting. Is there any connection between that and the thymus gland? That would be interesting if there's an interaction between all.
I want to start digging.
Yeah, start digging. Because, you know, all the other glands communicate.
Yeah.
You know, when you kip up epi, you have communication between your adrenal glands, your thyroid, all these sort of glands. So there's definitely communication between all the glands. And we're working on this one child that died, and we were just talking about this case the other day, and a client was in here and knew these people personally. But this was in Miami several years ago, where the state charged the couple with, well, they charged them with neglect, and they charged them with something else, manslaughter or something like that, because they gave their baby raw foods and the baby died malnutritioned. That's what they called it. So they got a raw food pediatrician in there from Miami and educated the court considerably on raw foods. What they found with this lad was the baby had an underdeveloped, genetically mutated thymus gland. Very difficult to find stuff on the thymus gland. Marcy dug up some friggin' growth hormones out of the thymic cells. It's like, what? You can't find crap out there hardly unless you dig. And it's just amazing. But good stuff. So that's an interesting thing. We want to know more about that and how the growth hormones of the thymus are effectual and how they're different from the growth hormones of the pituitary. That's what I'm...
And the connection, because you know
and
there's a connection
Oh.
in everything is intertwined with anything. Everything.
So if anybody knows out there, we'd really like to know that, because I think thymus, you know, we always try to get you into thymus thumping once in a while when we can think of it. Exactly. So does that build power and strength? Of course, it increases T-cell production. This is from Amy. Oh, sisters. There's some sisters. Celeste. They watch your YouTube videos regularly, and they would love to know which readings on spirituality you might suggest. Ooh. I suggest anything by J. Krishnamurti, Paul Twitchell. Heck, I don't know. Those are the ones I like, because in the final analysis, those are going to be the ones that set you free and teach you about what's out there that's beyond what you see now, but what you know inside. Outside of that, you know, we always recommend spirituality, whatever that means to each individual. You know, we've talked about spirituality before, but learning how to overcome that mind, learning how to be aware outside of the mind, get away from the thought processes and thinking. And it just takes a little time to work with that, how you work in the moment, and at the same time let your mind collect information for you. It's just becoming more aware, and you can do that. You're a multifaceted being. You can do so much more than that even. But by learning to develop this, you'll be able to learn how creation's put together, and that's why I like Paul Twitchell's books. J. Krishnamurti is How You Work in the Now. But there's a lot of great, you know, people that been teaching you.
I love David and Solomon and Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
Well, I also like the Essene Gospel of Peace, and I like the 23 other Gospels, because I like the agnostic Christianity. If I'm going to go Christianity, I'm going to go the agnostics. Those are the out-of-body travelers. What about those Catholic monks that go out into the desert every year and fast for 40 days and have out-of-body experiences? Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Where's the other ones? Hi, Dr. Morse. My name is Danny. I am a 26-year-old male. I grind my teeth in my sleep and even chipped a tooth 2 years ago. Interesting. Any comment on that one?
We've actually had someone stop grinding their teeth by getting their adrenals up. I'm not sure the connection, but it's there.
Neurological.
Yeah.
But they also have been, there had been thoughts about grinding teeth as parasitic. I don't know. It's possible. Neurologically, for sure. And that's when you bring the adrenals up and you bring those neurotransmitters up. That nervousness and stuff like that doesn't exist. I have dandruff, so that might be some lead into that up there. Dandruff, of course, means that your lymph system is backed up in the head and oozing out your skin. And I had a couple of yeast infections on my genitals. So, yeah, your lymphatic system, Danny's loaded up really bad. Might be some reason why you're doing the tooth thing. Over acidic and neurologically weak or something could be doing that. There could be other reasons, of course. Yeah, it sounds like you got a lot of fungus in you, so that means your adrenals are down. Of course, you're probably eating starch on top of that and everything else. So get you on your raw foods. You know, go to Parasite M, do your detoxing, get your kidneys filtering, your adrenals up, clean your bowels out. Get all this fungus out of you because you got it all around the lower part of the body here, around the genitals and rectal and stuff like that. These seem to have come back when I started eating mostly fruit, raw. Well, that's just what we were talking about. And you have to understand, guys, you're starting to clean the body. And you can expect anything. You can expect the skin to explode. You can expect anything. Lymph nodes to go up and down. You can expect anything. And
have you ever been cleaning your house and you're dusting and sweeping and moving things around and the sun's shining in the window and you see all these little dust particles floating around?
Ew.
You can't clean without stirring stuff up.
That's a good analogy. I like that. That's pretty good, you have to admit it. Yeah, and that's true, too. Oh, I hate that, too. These have seemed to come back when I started eating mostly raw, but now have disappeared. See what I'm saying? This is exactly how it goes, guys. The same thing, actually, emotionally and mentally as well. You got to give someone a chance to work through this because, as Marcy said, you don't know the journey that person's on. The difference between me and Marcy, of course, I believe in reincarnation. So for me, I'm going to say that you don't know that journey of that soul and what that soul is bringing in with them. It can be a long, deep problem within them to work out. The beauty of these sites, I hope, is that everybody helps everybody to work through these things. But if you have a site geared to specific for emotional and other type of problems, don't get upset if those are the problems that come to you. Yeah. We're almost done anyway here. We'll finish this up. Because you can't get upset with that because one of the hardest jobs there is healers. Just from that viewpoint of all the emotional and mental and the problems people have. Some people just suck your energy right out of you. So for the person running these sites, it's a good discipline or a good training to learn how to go,
exactly.
I'm detached. I'm not going to take on that person's problems. Excuse me. I'm going to work them through that. How you work someone through emotional and mental problems, you got to fix the glands first. If you got someone with depression, you got to fix the parathyroid, because if you think you're going to reverse someone's depression through conversation and nutrition, you're wrong. Because we work those worlds. And of course, every psychiatrist and psychologist will love to fix depression. You fix the parathyroid, you fix the adrenal glands, you can fix some of these things, but you have some people that are chronic in the adrenal glands, you're not going to get them out of anxiety within a few months. You can, but the average person that's very, very chronic of this can take a long, long time. Look at that poor soul we're working with.
Yeah. I don't like putting time frames on things, but there is a saying out there that if your adrenals are mildly down, 6 months to 18 months. If they are chronically, if they are severely, 18 months to 3 years. Now, like I said, I've seen far more success and quicker with what we do. That's out there, that's a statement that's out there in the world today, but
it's probably pretty close, because you're in those degenerative chronic levels of adrenals, and that's what we see a lot of. We see a ton of chronic, and some are black. Some are just going, oh my God, they still have them, but that's a black. It's like, you know, on the road to getting out of here. You're going to be a while fixing these things. But guess what? You can fix them.
Yes.
You can fix them. That's the beauty of this. Hang in. And all you beautiful souls helping others, you hang in too, because some of your clients are going to be tough on you. They're tough on us. I had one last night, really tough guy. Doesn't see himself as tough, but he's very tough because he's so overthinker. You overthink. And when you overthink, you burn too much energy. And when you're detoxing and trying to get well, your mind can keep you from getting well.
Absolutely.
Your emotions can keep you from getting well. This isn't just a physical journey, guys. You know, we're trying to show you that you're an encased being. You have multiple faceted parts to yourselves.
Well, I think I've shared this before, but I'll just say it again. Just focusing 6 minutes on a negative thought can take the immune system down, slow it down for up to 21 hours. That's scientifically been proven.
Isn't that interesting? So that's what we say, you know, sometimes I know you guys running sites are sweethearts, and I know you're all doing this out of love of your hearts, and I'm not negative on anybody doing the sites, because we want you to do the sites, because these people need help. There are some that are so emotionally distraught you can't help them. Now, I hate to say that, because that, you know, I pride ourselves on being able to help everybody, but some people don't want your help. They act like they do, but they're their own worst enemies. And you'll see that. And sometimes you have to go like this, because you don't bring yourself down, guys. You don't bring yourself down to anybody else's level. You bring them up to your level. You know, I labored over this years ago spiritually. Do I work myself down into other people's levels and try to get on their level and talk to them to try to bring them up higher? Or do I bring them up? And you never bring yourself down. You always bring everyone up with you, and you find a way of communication that does that. And let me say, the word simplicity always is your ticket. Always is your ticket. We've got to run here because she's got a client to go see. So I disappeared. I still have mild dandruff. Make sure that goes all away, my friend. You don't want any dandruff at all. I think I understand the protocol. Raw with as much fruit as possible. Yes. I am trying to just juice the vegetables instead of eating them. Yes. I am going to take the FAB FOUR. Yes. Oh, this is a good dude. Danny, you're smart, man. Drew hooked it up. Oh, good. Drew helped you with this suggestion. Both my older brother and mother suffer from grinding as well. No kidding. You know, see if you got nerve rings in your eyes. If you got a lot of nerve rings, then you know that's neurological grinding. You know, and it once was said that, you know, you'd have hooks or parasites if you grind your teeth. But I would deworm myself as well, just to make sure that's done, and then move my lymph system and enhance my neurological system, because that
right here's your answer. Just keep going.
Okay.
I hear that teeth grinding comes from parasites, candida. What is your opinion? Also, my mother had a mental breakdown during high-stress situations. Right there, neurological.
Right there, exactly. Right there, there. Adrenals and neurological. And this is what we see. She also suffers from regular sinus infections and allergies. So that's where you get your dandruff. She's impacted. Now, if you want your mama to remember your name until she's 100, you want to clean her sinuses out and get her allergies over with, because these are all pre-tumor situations, Alzheimer's.
Look at this. Brother had ear infections as a young child and now has swollen lymph nodes. Everything.
Oh yeah, you guys got to drain your heads big time. This you don't want to mess with the head. This is the hard drive. You don't want to mess with the head. You know, get it cleaned out.
Okay, so a couple of things that can help with draining. He's doing brain and nerve. He's doing upper CIRC. You're doing the raw fruits. You're doing everything that's there. But some craniosacral can really help get things moving. If you do some deep breathing, that affects the vagus nerve, which is the vagus tone, and that actually helps with inflammation in the body. You can do some research on that. Deep breathing is very key for helping it calms the adrenals, it calms the body down, relieves some of the stress, and allows inflammation to help get that lymphatic flowing a little bit more. It's called the vagus tone. You can do some research on that. Those are just things outside of what you're already doing perfect and doing well.
Hot and cold applications, neurolymphatic points, and you want to work these neurolymphatic points because you can turn on the kidneys with them. All you guys working on your kidneys, go down to the neurolymphatic points for the kidneys. They're going to be about mid-back, work from mid-back down. You can work it all down, of course, but mid-back and to the lower back, work all those. That's bladder, prostate, ovaries, uterus, all that. And that'll help open this ear candling. Open up the ears, break that loose. Ear candle, about 3 ear candles per ear. Do all these things that'll help break this loose, because this is where all this pressure stuff comes from that you've heard about that you don't want to even think about.
I get a regular massage, and it helps tremendously to help get that broken loose.
What else? Water fasting, fruit diet. Those things are all loosening, hydrating. So all those things will help them do that. But another thing, the head sits on what? The GI tract. You must clean up the GI tract. Of course, you must get your kidneys filtering. You've got to do all. You see why it's a systemic hit.
Yeah.
When you're going after someone's health, you don't give them a few supplements and say you're nutritional deficient. That'll fix you up. Are you kidding? Our problem is so much more deeper than that. That's surface stuff.
Yeah.
You got people have serious amyloid plaque in the body, mucoid plaque in the body, tumors, built up acids. I mean.
Your deficiencies are surface things. When you walk out the door, the terrain outside these windows here looks completely different than the terrain at the core of the earth. Always dig deeper. Why? Why are you, if you're deficient, why are you deficient? If you're imbalanced, why are you imbalanced? Always dig down to the root, and you will always come up with obstructions and acids.
Now, if you get down to that root, and that's why a lot of people are long-term detoxing, if we want to call it that, because they're trying to get down to the root and genetic, remember, and I'm on your side for doing it. And I highly recommend you keep going until you just can't go anymore.
Yeah.
And then, balance out now and then by cheating now and then. I certainly did. And it helps you to keep on going, especially when we're so conditioned. They say after 5 years old, you're totally conditioned. 5 years old, all your thought forms are already set, and then you just add on top of that. So I don't know.
You'll pull out of that grinding as you keep going. You'll pull out of it.
Yeah,
Build up those adrenals, get those kidneys filtering, and move that lymph.
Yep, get that out of the head area. That'll enhance neurological function in the head. It's funny, when you look at neurological function, the more acidic, the weaker, the more spastic. The more spastic you are, the less calm you are. When you're high on fruits, berries, and melons, you're as calm and as cool and as collected as they come.
Absolutely.
We love you guys. Thank you so much. Not beating up on you at all, guys, but we really just wanted to get this nutritional thing because I've done videos on this before, but don't fall into these traps because a lot of people are doing that. They're falling back in, and so now they're supplementing with all the blue greens and all the corellas and all this stuff. And let me tell you, you start going down, just like Marcy said, you can start seeing your symptoms come back. Going deep, like Marcy said, will eventually get it all done. And when it's all done, you can cheat all you want and your symptoms won't come back. Now, you can create it all back, but we keep pushing you until your body is totally good. Then you would have to work another lifetime to get tumors built up and everything else.
If a well runs out of water and you start digging, you can get tired of digging and you can put in a shallow well, but you're going to have a problem in a little bit. Go ahead and dig deep. Get down to the root of that problem. Plant that well deep so that it's life-giving.
And then you're done.
Exactly.
As a type 1, you should be able to go out there and have a piece of cake and see a BEP of maybe 5 points. Now you know you're done.
I have a client.
You gotta go. We gotta go. We love you.
Megan's coming to drag me away.
No.
Love you guys. Mwah.